Hey, what's going on? Ryan here, setthepacetriathlon.com. If I'm sounding a little different is because I'm getting over a nice little cold. One of my kids brought home from school. So, if I cough during the video, please excuse me. I'll address that now. Every once in a while I'll sniffle because my nose is running like crazy. But anyway, we're going to jump in the video, and today we're going to do some quick tips talking about the fatigue after race day and kind of what to expect. Sometimes it's a bigger deal than others, and sometimes it may catch you off guard. So I just want to make sure that you get some good information out there, kind of what to expect after race day, especially timing this video. Ironman Tulsa 2022 is coming up this weekend. So this is kind of a good idea for you guys, what to expect after race day. And while I'm doing this live here on Facebook, I have my comment section open. So if you got any questions or anything like that while I'm talking, put it up there. I'll try to answer any questions you got. If you're seeing this later at a replay on Facebook or YouTube, put a question in the comments there. I read through those and try to answer those as much as possible as well. So with that, we're going to jump into it. So fatigue after race day. So there you can see our wonderful puppy Izzy. She's not a puppy anymore. And she was posing with one of my medals after a race here locally. It was a long course race. It was kind of a little bit more of a tougher race, longer hills and that type of thing. So a little bit more fatiguing than maybe other races that I've done in the past. But so that brought up what to expect after race day. Sleep is going to be your biggest driver. So, and I'm not talking like to sleep the night before. Usually the night before races, you're not going to get much sleep because you're anxious, you got nerves, you got energy. You're not going to sleep that well. Now, the day after or the night after, getting sleep is going to be critical too. So if it's an Olympic, a long course, even a 70.3, you should be down with plenty of time to go go home, get to bed or wherever you're staying and get a decent night's sleep. Now, if you're doing a full Ironman, you need to take 16 and a half, 17 hours to do it, and you're getting to bed about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and you pump yourself full of Coke and Red Bull to make it through the race day, going to sleep may be kind of difficult. So if you get cruddy sleep afterwards, it's going to prolong that fatigue factor, and it's going to just exponentially, it'll get better and better every day, but that next day, if you don't get any substantial quality sleep, I'm not talking just laying in bed staring at the ceiling, restorative sleep is going to be kind of tough. But it also factors in the sleep that you got up to race day. So the night before, like I said, you don't really sleep much. But if you're getting your good quality sleep the week before a race, especially if you're doing a half or full Ironman, make sure you're getting your 8 hours of sleep. I know some people are like, I can make it with 6. I'm just fine. Make sure those few nights before, especially 2 nights before, sleep in a little bit. You don't need to go out and do a killer workout. You should be at your race venue, so you shouldn't be really going out and doing anything. Make sure you're getting plenty of sleep before and after. The night before probably ain't going to happen very well. But just try to get that sleep because that will greatly impact how fatigued that you really feel after a race. How long was a race? I talked about, the difference of race distance. A sprint, Olympic, 70.3, a full Ironman, you're going to be pretty wiped out. Half Ironman just kind of depends. Did you go really hard, or did you, was it a mild effort or something like that? Maybe it was a training race or something like that. You just didn't want to go out there and kill it. But, I've been fatigued after a swim triathlon just because you're going red line for over an hour, and afterwards you're just drained, you're toast. So the next day, usually I'm okay, but the next day after a full Ironman, even if you get good sleep, your legs are going to be a little sore, and you're going to be a little sore. So how long that race was, a long course, 70.3 usually, sprint race, Olympic distance triathlon, usually the day after, as long as you get a decent night of sleep, you're pretty good to go. But just depending on how long the actual race is and how long it actually took you could also impact what the fatigue factor is going to be the day after the race. Like I said, the intensity counts. So if you're going out there and you're just sprinting as hard as you can, for a sprint, Olympic, 7.3, even a full Ironman, if you're at that level and you can, go red line the entire race, you're going to be more taxed and your body's going to need more recovery and you're going to be a little bit more wiped out the next day than you probably would be. So just be ready for that. That intensity, how hard you go after that race does really count. Nutrition will factor in. And I'm not talking just about nutrition on race day. Obviously, you got to get your nutrition dialed in so you can make the finish line. But after the race, if you just go straight to bed and don't eat something, because usually after an Ironman, after I'm done moving, I'm pretty hungry and I eat whatever they have post-race. But if your stomach is just churning and you don't eat anything, your body's just going to go into starvation mode because you've gone through several thousands of calories in the day. You've not replenished it. So you need to try to get something quality in with a little bit of protein, fats, good fats, and carbs. Just something semi-healthy, peanut butter jelly sandwich, something. So your body can have something to work on to rebuild all of the protein and all the energy and restore muscles and everything. So make sure you get nutrition right after the race, during the race, obviously, the night before, in the morning of. Yeah, you want to, I talked about fueling several times. But again, leading up the week before, months before, weeks before, are you eating a good, nutritious, oh, I'm just eating 2,000 calories. Well, if it's, waffles and fried chicken and, other, you know, ground chuck hamburgers, stuff like that with high saturated fats and stuff like that, and not quality, it's not vegetables and other things were good quality whole foods where you're getting decent calorie from, that's going to probably impact your body's ability to be restorative in after the race when you're in recovery mode. So if you've not fueled properly before the weeks before, that's probably going to carry over to race day and then afterwards. It's not the end of the world, but it could draw out how long that you kind of get, how long you're going to be able to feel fully recovered or how long you're going to feel like crap. So nutrition makes a difference. Hydration, same thing. You got to stay hydrated. I've always got something to drink here. Hydration, especially, race day, obviously, but afterwards, if you go right to bed and you sleep for 8 hours and you don't drink anything, put something beside your nightstand, a cup of water, something like that, whenever you wake up after the race, especially drink some water. If you're doing a shorter distance race, make sure you hit the water afterwards. An Olympic race, if you're going pretty hard, you can use a lot of water and you can be severely dehydrated at the end. So just make sure that you're pounding the water, make sure you're getting restored in your hydration levels, because you feel drowsy and sleepy after a race, and that's because partially you're dehydrated. That's when you're dehydrated, you just don't feel like taking a nap. So make sure you're staying hydrated after a race, because that will also impact it. Life stress won't help either. So if you've done the mistake I have in the past and you've done a race and then Monday you're flying out to a job somewhere and a project, and you got to pack all your stuff and unpack and do whatever, stress doesn't help. So if you got to get up early the next day and hit the airport, if you're traveling back after the race, that's a little bit stressful. So just be ready for that. If you got to get up at 6 o'clock the next morning to get to the airport to be able to get home after the race, that's going to impact how much sleep and how much rest you're going to get. Trying to sleep on the plane, all that kind of fun stuff. But if you're just in a hurry and you're like, life has hit you in the face, your 3 kids need your attention, your work needs your attention as soon as that race is done, that's just a little bit more internal stress. It's going to carry through, and it's going to make it a little bit more difficult to recover. We hit life stress. Do you get all of your training in? So did you hit your training plan? If you have missed 50% or more of your workouts, especially the long bikes and the long runs, get the race day and you're able to complete it, you're going to be in a world of hurt, because your body is just not prepared to absorb that much training effort or just racing effort or any effort in general. So you're going to need a longer period of time, and you're going to feel really wiped out the next day just because your body has not adapted to that level of endurance work. So just be ready. Sometimes you can kind of fake it till you make it with the training, and you get the race day and you can get to the finish line. But the next day after, you're going to probably pay for it just because you just hadn't put those miles into your body, and it's not ready to be rejuvenated as quickly as possible. So just keep that in mind when you're skipping your training workouts. No pressure, but just saying, it helps out. How many races have you done in a short period of time? So if you're doing race 4 weeks in a row, that's just going to compound after each other, especially if they're 70.3s or full Ironman. I've done a full Ironman 4 weeks apart, and there's enough time to do a little bit of recovery and then come back and do a little bit of training and then be fully recovered to do the next race. It wasn't my best performance, and there's probably a little latent fatigue or something like that. But if you're doing races after races, and that's your training, is you're doing races, that's just going to come out after time, and it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get over that hump the more races you do. So if you spread out your races, that will give your body time to recover, and you'll be able to absorb recovery a lot more quickly. So just be aware of that. And then last, climate. Was it hot? Was it cold? If you're going out there and you're cold and you're shivering out in the swim or something like that, and your muscles start cramping up because you're so cold, that's going to affect it. If it was hot and you start cramping up, I've had upper groin cramping, and the next day I've been like super sore and just not really able to walk around very well. So if it's super hot, super cold, super windy, and you had to work really hard on the bike or something like that, or the terrain of the course is super hilly or something like that, Ironman Chattanooga, 70.3, even the full out there, you got tons of hills out there. So if you're running up and down, you're pounding your quads, and you're bringing in the hamstrings and glutes, terrain, climate, all that will affect your ability, how much energy you had to expend, and then your ability to recover and be not as fatigued or over fatigued the next day. So these are a few little tips. So hopefully this kind of enlightens you a little bit. It's probably kind of a light bulb moment when I mention most of these things, but it does play a factor, especially as you're getting into race day. Here we are Wednesday before Ironman Tulsa. Everybody's going to start showing up tomorrow, Thursday, to start checking in. Hydration, nutrition, just setting yourselves up for the day after the race. Hopefully you don't have to 6 o'clock in the morning the next day hit the road. I know our hotel last year in 2020, was this 2021, they were going to close the parking garage at 6 a.m. the day after the race and then start repaving it or something, resurfacing it, and they're going to kick us out. Well, luckily Ironman talked to them and got them to extend it to starting at noon, so we didn't have to check out till regular time at 11. That was going to be a little crazy. So hopefully you can take away some pointers from this and help prepare yourself for the day after, what's going to be like. You've always seen people walk around a little funky and stuff after a race, but that level of I can walk to my car and I can carry my gear out versus I'm done, all I can do is just sit here and I have to have my Sherpa carry all my crap because I can't carry a bottle of water without cramping up. That's going to play a factor. All these points are going to play a factor in helping you out to be able to move versus not after race day. So hopefully those help you out. If you're seeing us on Facebook, give it a like. If you're seeing it on YouTube, give it a like, give it a subscribe, hit the notification button to see other tips, putting other information about other race courses out there. Tulsa, Des Moines 70.3, Chattanooga 70.3, Florida, Waco, all the races, Oregon 70.3, Washington, wherever we got athletes out. Usually I'm scouting the course and I'm putting information out there, so subscribe on YouTube. With that, we're going to wrap it up. So hopefully you guys are all ready out there. Good luck out there. Happy training. We'll see you at the finish line.